You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Oh, there was a delivery there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mix it up.
Whoa.
Give people a little something different. Something a little bit different.
No,
we did that last week.
We cannot make that running. We absolutely cannot.
Something a little bit different.
No.
We can't?
No.
Okay. Well, fine. Today we're going to be talking about the 7th episode of the 2nd series of Doctor Who, The Idiot's Lantern.
Ooh.
All right.
I'm trying to help here.
Which aired on May 27th, 2006.
True facts!
Before we talk about this episode, last
We're
time...
moving so much.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm fidgety. I just woke up. I woke up from a nap, and then I played Super Mario Wonder, which is very good.
Pretty sure the mic is just like...
You can turn into an elephant. It's fun. Anyway, last time...
Oh, in Super Mario.
In Mario, yeah. Last time, we made a little bit. So, you gotta tell us, did Ryan Reynolds dress like Deadpool at the thing you went to, the conference?
No!
Disappointing.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds, if you're listening to this, I'm disappointed.
He did say that he had the suit.
Did he? See? Like one step away. But he did mention Deadpool, so...
Yeah.
I think that I get like $5 for that or something. It was 20 if he wore the suit, 5 if he mentioned it.
I don't believe so.
Play back the tape.
Play back the tape and you'll hear me saying, yeah, he'll probably mention it. He's in a movie. He's gonna promote it.
You didn't disagree to the terms. So.
I don't believe I ever agreed to the terms either. Can we please talk about Doctor Who?
No.
Ugh.
We gotta do our little bit.
People
might want to know.
I don't think people like the banter.
People love the banter.
People hate the banter.
People tune in for the banter.
People
honestly,
hit the 15-second button until the banter is over.
Listen, they do not.
They do?
There are a lot of podcasts I listen to. I'm like, oh yeah, the banter. And then the episode itself starts and I'm like, I have to tune out until they get back to the banter and then I tune back in.
You're a unique person.
No, I'm not. People tune in for the people, not the content. Anyway, tell us, you went to New York. That's pretty cool.
I did go to New York. I went to Stonewall.
Oh, nice.
It was cool. I mean, it was 100 degrees, so I went into the Stonewall Inn and bought a t-shirt and then took the metro back. So, it wasn't
what did the
super
Stonewall
eventful.
look like?
I know you know it's not a stone wall. I know you know that.
Why else would it be called that?
I don't know why it's called that. I'm sure I could learn. They gave me a little pamphlet when I went in.
It's made out of bricks, right? That people throw.
It is made out of bricks.
And that's where being queer was invented.
That is where being queer was invented. It was at the Stonewall Inn. The shirt does say...
Where Pride began?
Where Pride began, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you wear it.
Okay. I wasn't telling you, I was telling them.
No, I'm just saying.
You're like, yeah, I know, I've seen it.
I forgot that we're talking to people.
I noticed.
So anyway, New York. You saw a play?
I saw a play. I saw Wicked.
Wicked. That's Ace's catchphrase.
It sure is, buddy.
What did you think? Did you like Wicked? Did you hate Wicked?
I don't want to say because I know Wicked is very beloved. I had a fun time. Yeah. I enjoyed it. The performances were great.
Not a fan?
There are parts of it I didn't like. Where there's like basically a part in the play where it's like, we know you didn't come back to fight fascism. You came back for the boy. And the play is like, yeah, she did. She came back from the boy. And I'm like, what about the fascism? No one's actually worried about it.
No one's worried about the fascism?
No.
That is a bummer. People should be worried about the fascism.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Do you want to see the movie?
I'll probably see the movie.
I don't know anything about it.
I would say the first half of Wicked is really good. And then the second half happens.
It's about Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah. Can we talk about Doctor Who?
Sure. We should talk about Doctor Who more often than we do. We've been doing these once a month. We were doing them every 2 weeks. And now I am being harassed by a Doctor Who / comic book legend. I agree that we should talk more about Doctor Who. So, previous guest, Richard Starkings, who is a comic book letterer, writer, he was the editor for Doctor Who. He's been coming into the comic book store I work at. He comes in like once a week. And pretty much every time he's like, so, how close are we getting into my next episode? He's going to be on Blink. And it's just getting further and further away.
Blink is like years away.
I know.
Does he know that?
Well, it wasn't years away when he signed up for it. It is now. When it was on a every other week basis, we'd be getting to it around the beginning of next year. And now we're not. But anyway, he's harassing me. But he's cool.
He's harassing me, but he's cool.
Yeah, I got the nemesis of the Daleks, like this huge...
Hey, we can't keep putting off talking about this episode.
Sure we can, it's
we
bad.
We have to.
But I got this huge nemesis of the Daleks graphic
that
novel.
That would mean that it elicited some kind of response.
Richard Starkings signed it. He drew a little Dalek in it.
Help me out here.
Okay, fine. Do you want me to do my summary?
Yes, for fuck's sake.
This fucking episode written by Mark Gatiss. All right.
It's a Gatiss episode.
So
that's
you know
really
what
all
you're
you
getting.
need to know about it.
All right. See you next week.
Okay. Good talk.
Okay. Here's my alternate title for The Idiot's Lantern. The Faceless Ones 2, The Street of Coronation. Because there was a Doctor Who serial called The Faceless Ones.
Yeah.
And in this episode, everybody gets their faces taken away.
Okay.
So they're faceless ones.
But that's not related.
No.
Okay.
But this one's the street of Coronation.
Yeah.
Because, fun fact, the street that this serial takes place on, I forget what it's called, but it was what the original street was going to be called, and that eventually became Coronation Street, which is a huge soap opera over there where they make Doctor Who.
Over there?
Over there. They changed the title to Coronation Street. And that's important because this is about TV. Also, it's about a coronation.
It's about the coronation.
So there's a lot of layers to that naming of the street that everybody lives on in this
That
episode.
sounds like 2 layers.
3.
Okay.
It's TV, Coronation Street, Coronation.
Oh, but okay. Oh, the name doesn't count as a level.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So anyway, here we go. Here's my summary. On their way to see Elvis, the Doctor...
I forgot that's what they were trying to do. Fuck Elvis, by the way. Okay.
You know what? Also, fuck the Doctor for fat-shaming Elvis.
Yeah, rude.
Rude. I'm getting into my notes a little bit here.
Can you please do the summary?
I know, but I just want to say, the
Summary!
Doctor fat-shames Elvis, and it's not okay. It's not okay. On their way to see Elvis, the Doctor and Rose accidentally wind up in London shortly before the coronation of Elizabeth II. People are being taken by the police, but at least everyone has a new television from Magpie Electricals. However, it turns out those televisions are stealing people's faces for an electronic alien being known only as the Wire. Rose loses her face, the Doctor saves the day, and a boy learns to love his abusive father. And that is...
He sure does.
The Idiot's Lantern. Yeah. Oh, it's Florizel Street. That was the original plan name of Coronation Street. It's in my notes and I didn't even notice. So, let's talk about this. That ending sucks. Can I just say?
You want to say specifically what happens?
So, there's a family whose grandmother gets her face taken away, and they're like...
It looks awful, by the way.
I think it looks fine.
I think it looks... Every shot is like this like slow zoom of like, how creepy is this? He doesn't have a face! And I'm like, that's just what people look like.
You know what
already.
You know what the problem with that is, too?
What?
It's supposed to be, it's creepy, it's scary, and they're playing them like monsters, but they're not, and we know they're not. We know they're just people.
I think it would be scarier if you leaned into the like...
Like if they were like, ah!
Yes. Like there have been plenty of things where like, it happens in Good Omens, where like Adam takes away the them's mouth. And like, that's terrifying because you can't even scream. But like, once you take away the like thing that makes expressions on people, you're like, I don't understand why this thumb is supposed to be scary. It doesn't frighten me. And the fact that they're playing it up as creepy makes it feel even cheesier.
Yeah, and again, I don't think them not reacting to it. They're just standing there.
Yes.
If they were, like, freaking out about it, or, like, clearly distressed about it, that'd be something. But they're just standing there. They clench their fists.
They're empty.
Oh, right. Their faces are later on television. But still, I don't know. They do this thing where they clench their fists, or they clench their fingers. And it makes this creaking noise. That was a reference to Quatermass, which apparently there's a lot of references to that in this.
And you didn't get to finish your thought.
What was my thought?
Your thought about the ending.
Oh, so yeah. We mostly focus on this one family whose grandmother has had her faith taken away. Her daughter, who's the mom of the family, and then the dad, who's an asshole, and then there's a little boy. There's a boy, not little boy. He's, I don't know, teenager maybe. And the dad's just a real dick, and that's basically all he gets. That's his entire character, is just being an absolute asshole.
To be fair, the absolute asshole that he is very much like a regular flavor of person, which I like. I'm not saying like. I'm saying I really like that they showcase, like, I don't know, the average bigotry at the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think they do it a little too much.
Yeah?
There's no redeeming qualities about this man. And
No.
yet, they want you to feel like the man has redeeming qualities at the very end. And he doesn't. The kid's like, fuck this guy, because, like, his mom kicks him out of the house. Because basically, it turned out he was, like, ratting everybody out. And I feel like there is a thing that could be said about that he's trying to do what is expected of him. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm helping our family. But it never feels like that. He says that, but it never feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like he's an asshole. But anyway, the kid's like, I don't want anything to do with him. And Rose is like, go make up with him.
But he's your dad.
Yeah.
You only get one dad. You don't owe anything to abusive family members.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
And that's the very end of the episode. That's the taste that is left in your mouth. And it's bad. It's a bad taste. I don't like it.
I think there would be something to it if you... There is, like, an angle of, like, yes, this guy seemed like an asshole, but here are the ways in, like, which essentially the patriarchy is damaging and harmful to the people that it supposedly puts in power. Like, that's real. But instead, it doesn't say that. It's just like, but he's your dad. Sure, he's an asshole, but he's your dad. You could fix him. You could fix him. And it's your responsibility as a victim and a child to do that. It's not.
There's even, like, a bit where they're like, you fought Nazis, and now you're being one. And that doesn't even really do anything for him. He just looks temporarily like, oh, yeah. But that's it. He doesn't grow. He doesn't change.
Yeah.
Like, if he had a moment where he was like, you're right, I'm sorry, I'm stupid, and then helped, that would be something. But he doesn't. He's just an asshole the whole time. Oh, speaking of that kid, his name's Tommy.
Okay.
In the original script, he was going to be gay.
Is that not in it?
No. Gaddis dropped it because he saw the episode with Jack. Because this was written for the Ninth Doctor. I don't know. He saw what they were doing with Jack and was like, this episode doesn't need that. I don't know why you can't have more queer representation. But there was going to be this thing that you think he has a crush on Rose, but it turns out he has a crush on the Doctor.
I fully read it that way anyway. That kid is obviously queer.
So, some other notes I have, some behind-the-scenes stuff. Original titles for this episode included Mr. Sandman, because the original premise was, had something to do with music. Like, it was like a monster infecting people with music, and they all sang Mr. Sandman. Instead of losing their faces, they just sang Mr. Sandman.
I like that better. Could they not get the rights to Mr. Sandman?
Maybe, I don't know.
Can we talk about what a good song Mr. Sandman is?
Now who doesn't want to talk about Doctor Who?
All right. It's a great song.
Mr.
Putting it
Sandman.
in something is always like a good choice.
Give me a dream. Other titles included Sonic Doom, boring, and my favorite, The One-Eyed Monster.
Oh no. What did that refer to in this context?
Television.
Do people call it television that?
I mean, it's a one-eyed monster, isn't it?
Do people say that?
No. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they do. But I think that's a great title, and they should have used it.
They should not have used that title.
Honestly, I think The Idiot's Lantern sucks.
Do you?
Yeah, it's boring. Apparently, it was Gareth Roberts' grandfather called television The Idiot's Lantern, and that's where the title came from.
I mean, that is a very grandparent thing. Lantern's way cooler than what my grandparents said, which was just idiot box.
Idiot box, yeah.
Like, lantern is at least cooler than that.
But also, it's like, what is this episode trying to say? Is the episode trying to say
it's not
TV is
about
bad?
anything.
Yeah. I don't...
Sure.
It's about television, kinda, but it doesn't have anything to say about television?
No. It doesn't have anything to say about Nazis, really.
No, not really, because even though it's like filled with all of these like visual things, like there's the television antennas look like swastikas.
The what?
The television antennas
Oh,
look like swastikas.
antennas.
Yeah, nearly every single shot in this episode is a fucking Dutch angle.
You love Dutch angles.
I do, but why is it nearly every shot a Dutch angle? Is it trying to say something with the Dutch angle? About television? I don't know. I don't think so. There's even this bit where The Wire is the big bad. It's a woman that's presented on television, and like the thing takes the form of that, right? And talks to Mr. Magpie. But she's black and white because televisions are black and white. And there's a moment where she turns into color. And the guy's like, color television. And then she goes back to being black and white. Why? What does that do? What does that mean? Is she becoming more powerful? What the I don't understand. What is that scene trying to say?
It's just neat, isn't it?
Is it?
Right.
Is it just you're like, that's neat. I'm going to put that in. Even though it doesn't do anything. It doesn't signify anything. I don't know why it's there, what it's doing, what its purpose is.
I mean, I think its purpose is to be like, is to make it seem more alien in a way, because it's just been like a lady on the TV, so it needs to do something. So
it briefly becomes color. You know what's interesting is it doesn't even become like modern day color. It becomes like 70s color.
It does.
That's interesting, I guess. I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot of changes to this episode before it aired, or before they even filmed it. Like there was the premise completely changed. It was written for the 9th Doctor. Tommy was supposed to be gay. There was an entire subplot cut where Rose visited her aunt who worked on a game show for the BBC.
That's weird.
Also, it wasn't supposed to be the coronation originally. I forget what it was going to be, but it wasn't the coronation, and then they changed it to the coronation.
I feel like it's a shame that this is such a mid-episode, because, like, the idea of Magpie Electronics is actually kind of cool.
And it gets referenced so many times after this.
I mean, I guess we get the giggle.
I don't think the giggle's very good either.
The giggle is definitely scarier.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't like.
You can't see faces anyway.
I spent literally the whole time we were watching this being like, they look the same. There's no difference. There's just like dramatic close up on something, and I'm supposed to be like, oh no, and I'm like, that's just a person. That's just what people look like.
That's not what they look like.
No,
you know, people have eyeballs and noses and mouths. And...
When you read a book and you're like imagining characters,
yeah,
that's what they look like in my head.
That's messed up.
I can't.
That's terrifying.
I can't.
How do they talk?
It's like the camera isn't usually on the face, you know?
Have you ever seen a movie that's like that? People are talking and they just never show their face?
I mean, the idea of a face is there. It's like...
just like a little stick figure, like mouth, just kind of... Bop, 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 bop. Interesting. Okay, things that I liked. One, there's a scene where Rose is a gremlin.
Oh, yeah. Rose is great in this episode.
Yeah, they like just... When they go to meet the dad, they're pretending to be from the government, right? Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just fuck with this guy. And it's great. He's trying to be like, my wife didn't do stuff. And he's like, what gender is the queen? Do you think she does the housework? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he's hanging up the flags and he calls him Union Jack. And Rose is like, it's the Union flag. It's only Union Jack when it's at sea. I'm sorry. But then I forget what the thing is, but she fucks with him one more time, and then she does this like huge grin, and she literally ducks out of shot and runs away.
The thing is, by the way, telling him that he hung the flag upside down.
Oh, okay, yeah. And she just does literally, she looks like a little gremlin, just and runs away.
It's so big and over the top, and I like it a lot. She's clearly having fun.
You say she's good in this episode, and then she gets her face taken off, and then she's just not in it anymore.
Well, when she's got a face, she's good.
When she loses her face, and the doctor's staring at her, and it's all dramatic, and the music swells, so you can't hear the cops talking behind the doctor, but one of the cops mentions Torchwood.
Oh.
Torchwood's not going to be happy about this. So that's our Torchwood update of the episode.
What's some of the other things that you liked?
Speaking of the cops, the interrogation scene starts with...
Oh, I do love that scene. That is a very good scene.
It starts with the cop saying to the doctor, tell us everything you know. As the scene goes on, the power dynamic switches. Like, literally, he's standing above the doctor's sitting down, and at some point... When the doctor's like, you don't know what the hell's going on, do you? He sits down and he's like, no, I don't. And I wish I did.
And like for a moment, they're both sitting down and then...
The doctor stands up because he's like, how can you help me? And the doctor stands up and he leans over and he says, tell me everything you know.
That's
good.
That is beautiful.
It's nice. Also in that scene is another thing I really like, which I didn't catch until I was making GIFs, which is when he says, tell me everything you know, the doctor says, you can't wrap your hand around your elbow and make your fingers meet.
You didn't see the guy in behind try to do it?
Yeah, there's a second cop in the background is trying to do it very subtly. And that is hilarious. That's the best thing in the episode.
Love it when a background actor makes a choice. God bless.
I don't have many more notes. Muffin the Mule looks terrifying. I just want to say that. They're watching a show called Muffin the Mule, and it's the most terrifying fucking thing I've ever seen.
Is that
It's a real show.
just a thing that, like, British kids television is awful? Every British kids TV thing I have seen has been nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Even, like, that third Doctor thing where he's a scarecrow looks terrifying. Wurzel Gummidge or whatever the hell it's called.
Terrifying. The, like, squeaky toy guy? Don't like him. You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
I mean, I guess we've got, like, the Boohbahs or whatever they're called.
What the hell's a Boohbah?
Here, let me pull up a picture of one.
I vaguely remember. Oh, fuck! Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is it circumcised?
What?
Tell me that thing's not circumcised.
I don't know.
That thing is just a very rotund dick. What the fuck is that? All right, I'm done looking at this. Go back to my notes.
Wait, really quickly, where does Boohbahs come from? Because you're going to Google it and it's going to be like, it's produced in the UK. It's British!
The UK!
What are you all doing over there?
That's fantastic. The doctor puts the villain on a Betamax.
You know what? No wonder why they keep trying to write this episode where television is evil. There's probably these, like, deep-seated childhood memories of, like, everything on the TV was bad, actually.
Right?
Everything on the TV was just slightly terrifying.
So when they put the wire on a tape, on a Betamax, the doctor says he's going to tape over it. And Rose says she'll do it. As originally, she's going to tape over it with Coronation Street. Making that whole thing full circle. Who cares?
Is taping over it better than just
destroying it?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if you destroy it, it'll get loose.
Alright.
What do you think of the wire? Some people think she overacted. I'm hungry.
I usually feel like she didn't act enough.
Oh.
I think I feel like, okay, I think that's a huge problem with this episode, right? Is that, like, the villain stays in a box. It's very hard to feel, like, threatened by it. I mean, never at a point did I feel the, like, fear of scale, which is what I think could have driven it. If you can't be like, there's this thing can't present a physical threat. It can be terrifying. It should be terrifying that it's in every house.
Yeah, but it just looks like it's just people watching TV.
But it's just people watching TV, exactly. And then, like, the occasional person shows up without a face, and then they don't do anything. And then, once you have all these, like, you take one of your main characters and leave them without a face, you empty them out. So there's very little emoting. There's very little feeling driving this episode.
And I feel like the secondary character, like Tommy, I don't think he's a character enough to give a shit about.
I like Tommy, okay?
Yeah, but what does he do? He doesn't do anything.
He forgives his abusive father.
Oh, well, yay. I did enjoy the fact that when we were watching it and she was doing the, I'm hungry. You said, imagine this if it was Izzy Rowland from Game Changer when she has to order all those pizzas.
And say, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So I made that. I've posted it to our social media. You're welcome.
It was good, but what I really wanted to hear was her delivery of I'm hungry as I'm hungry.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah, with like the, yes, the dramatic thing, but the person is saying, hungry, I'm hungry. That would have fixed this episode.
That's what would have done it?
Yeah.
All right. I believe you. I wrote the words face off at one point because I thought that was funny.
You thought that was something, huh?
Yeah. That's nothing.
That's absolutely nothing.
What did you think of Mr. Magpie?
I liked him.
Yeah. He was originally just going to be like a mustache twirling villain, but then they decided not to do that.
No, I'm always a fan of that trope of somebody who's kind of just caught and doing their best to mitigate further damage. I find that compelling.
Why does he do it? Why doesn't he just turn the TV off?
I think you can just, I'm pretty sure it would just turn back on.
Oh, well, just hit it with like a hammer or something.
This is the problem, right? Is that the Wire doesn't feel like that much of a threat.
The Wire doesn't exist.
We all know that the Wire doesn't exist. The Wire is something specifically
Christine
from
Cherry made up.
Christine Cherry's imagination. And sometimes we humor her about it, and sometimes we don't.
I have one more thing that was changed.
Okay.
And then I'm completely out of things until I remember something else. So the Doctor climbs a radio tower at the end of this episode.
Oh, yes! And the whole time I'm like, there's a beat that ought to be here. Where he's like, oh no, radio towers.
There was! What was it? It was the last Fourth Doctor episode. That's how he dies. He falls off that satellite thing. And there was a reference to it in the original script, and then they cut it out.
I mean, it's fair. I guess he cut, that's something that could definitely easily go for time. My brain wanted it, though.
Yeah. I mean, you lose that for time, nothing happens in this episode. There's just long periods of time where they're just running around. That's it.
Ultimately, the problem with this, I think you are right, is that it's
37 shots of people watching just the coordination.
It's not about anything. It's got the pieces in place, like it wants to, like it was thinking about it, but it's not saying anything. And I feel like that makes it harder to have something that hangs together.
You know what I think is also very funny about that? The Doctor Who Confidential episode for this episode was called The Writer's Tale, and it was all about how Mark Gatiss is a great writer. Aww. And the thing is, they're saying, like, you can tell this is a Mark Gatiss script because it feels like a Mark Gatiss script, and not a single person says what is good about it. There's like, it has elements.
It's got so many elements you wouldn't believe.
It doesn't say anything about, like, what's it about, anything. It's just like, it's got television, and there's Nazi symbol, like, the swastikas, and, okay, what's it about? What are you trying to say?
Mark Gatiss must be just
the nicest
person. Nicest, sweetest guy. And you know what? I love that for him.
Honestly, I don't think he's a terrible writer.
No, I think, because you said at the beginning of this that it was bad, and I was like, that's too strong of a word. Like, it's just mid.
Yeah, it's mid.
It's competent. Yeah. It has all the pieces.
It's got a bit beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah. It even, like, I would say, like, has the bones of something really good.
I do
but
feel
there's no
like...
meat. There's no meat on those bones.
I think maybe there would have been meat on it, and he just had to keep rewriting it.
Yeah, or this might be a case of, like, the actual limitations of having to make a thing.
Yeah. Like I said, first the original premise gets completely dropped, then the actor changes, and you gotta rewrite for a guy you don't know who it is. So it's just like a...
I wonder if that's why they sidelined Rose. Well, no, because Rose is the same. So it's not like, oh, there's a new companion, I don't know how to write her, I'll just...
just didn't know how to write. I think he didn't know how to write for Tennant. And I do feel like this episode might have played a little bit better with Eccleston. It feels more his vibe.
Honestly, I could see that, yeah.
Especially like the getting angry stuff. I think Eccleston is better at getting angry than Tennant is.
They make Tennant get angry all the time.
I know, and he just yells. He just goes, ah! And I don't buy it as much as, like, there's an intensity to Eccleston.
Like a cold fury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to yell to get his point across. Like, he just makes a face, and you're like, that dude's pissed.
You're like, oh, fuck. Mom's mad. Everyone be quiet.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about this episode?
I would like to go to a break.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for final thoughts.
Nice.
Who are you?
I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Dan. What do you want?
We want to review every episode of the 1990s sci-fi TV series Babylon 5.
Its TV movies.
And its spin-off series, Crusade.
Where are you going?
All the way to the end.
Who do you serve? And who do you trust? We serve the one.
And our listeners.
Who are you?
We are the Epsilon 3.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Tony?
Joe?
Do you know what time it is?
I do, thank you for asking.
Cool. So, What time is it?
Oh, you want me to tell you what time it is?
Yes, please.
It is 7:34 p.m. on
Bedtime.
a Sunday night. It's not that far from bedtime.
Shoo.
All right, bye.
It's time for your TVs to turn off.
I'm going to bed.
Remember well, you don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know why I said that, but there used to be a time when TVs stopped airing shit.
Yeah. No, I remember, like, waking up in the middle of the night and having, like, the Bars and Tone on and being like, oh, shit.
Really? I never remembered that. Did that happen?
That's what would be up when they stop airing things.
Huh. I don't ever remember that. Maybe I never stayed up that late. Or also we had cable, so it wasn't like I was watching one of the main stations.
I don't know. I definitely remember like seeing the actual Bars and Tone on TV and being like, I'm somewhere I shouldn't be.
What I mostly remember is like paid programming.
Yes. You would like get favorite paid programmings when you were a kid.
They had like a whole, like it would be just like two hosts showing you how this like product worked, and they had a huge fucking studio audience that was excited. How did they get those people? Did they pay those people?
I don't know.
It's like, this thing chops in 5 different ways. Left, right, up, down, and another way.
And then the audience is like,
whoa! It's got so many blades!
What if I want to cut it this way?
It can do that!
What if I want to cut it this way?
It can do that too!
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah, it's 7:36 p.m. now.
No, listen. You've gone off the rails, and I've got to reel you back in.
Tell me everything you know.
All right, it's time for final thoughts. That's what I know.
I don't have feelings about this episode. It's fine. It's there. There's a couple of good moments. It's mostly filler. There's just scenes that happen. I don't care about any of it. I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. I just don't feel anything. I was glad when it was over. I did hate the ending. I legitimately hated the ending. But everything before was fine. Like, I thought the acting was fine. All the dad, even though I think he's a bit one note, he's doing fine. I mean, just being Vernon Dursley. But, you know, it is what it is. I can't muster up any other words for this.
I think we've talked about it as much as physically possible. I feel bad for being harsh on it. It was fine.
I wouldn't go out on my way to watch it again. But if it was on, I'd be fine.
If it was on and I couldn't find the remote. If it was on and it was the 90s again and there were only 3 channels and all the other channels had news, I'd watch it.
I thought you said nudes for a second. I was like, no, I'd watch the nudes.
You'd watch the nudes?
Yeah. So those are your final thoughts?
Those are my final thoughts.
Those are my final thoughts. Is there anything we need to plug? I have plugs. Do you have plugs?
Go ahead and plug your plugs.
I have a new comic book out called Good Man, which is about a cat named Goodman who is a little shit, like most cats. We have 2 cats, I can say that.
I can say that! I have cat friends.
So, like, this cat's tearing shit up, knocking stuff over, breaking things. So, the family takes this cat to a obedience school / temp agency where the cat is turned into a businessman who has to learn the value of money, capitalism. So, it's just a twist on that, you know, bad dad businessman becomes a good dad by becoming an animal of some sort. So, go check out Goodman at mintypineapple.com.
This is the opposite where you teach a cat to love capitalism.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You can find that at mintypineapple.com/store. I have a bunch of other comics and novels, including there's now a way that you can purchase Road Trippy and Princess of the Pterodactyls in real form, like actual books. Not just digital.
Like physical, maybe?
Physical, thank you.
Yep.
Physical copies through Infinity Flux. There's a link in my store, or you can go to infinityflux.net. Either way.
You can visit Infinity Flux.
Yeah, go to Infinity Flux. Yeah, they're awesome. I work there. You'll see me. Ask for my autograph and take a picture with me and make me feel more important than I actually am.
And then ask him, how long is it going to be till you get to Blink?
Oh, fuck off.
Are you the Blink yet?
Mm-hmm. Richard, please. We'll get there. I promise. I promise. But if you like this episode, check out more on Watch-A-Rassilon.com. You can also find our podcast, our Patreon, and more at Linktree /Watch-A-Thon. Also, leave us a review on iTunes, why don't you? Rate us on Spotify.
Can you do that?
Yeah. I've rated a bunch of podcasts on Spotify.
Whoa.
Yeah. Also, want to give a special shout out to Vince and EL for providing us with our amazing theme song.
Thank you, Vince.
Check out more of their music at vincentel.bandcamp.com and tune in next time when we talk about the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit.
Oh.
A good two-parter.
I do actually really like those episodes.
With returning guests Adam Clegg and Brian Snape.
Oh, a fun one.
Of the podcast, Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. But until next time, keep calm and Rassilon.
Goodbye, and I love you in a platonic, parasocial way.
Stay tuned.
For what?
The next episode. It's television.
Because it's television?
Yeah, it's television. I hope you enjoyed the program.
It's not television, it's radio.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm the Wire, and I'm hungry.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.